The Cook Pirates. Ever heard of the Cook Pirates? Sounds weird, right? But more than 20 years ago, they were one of the most fearsome pirate crews sailing the Grand Line. Their captain was the famous red-leg Zeff, who led the crew aboard their ship, the Cooking George. Instead of the usual skull and crossbones, their Jolly Roger had a duck wearing a chef's hat, with a fork and knife crossed like bones. Yep, the same Zeff who once saved Sanji. Turns out he had a pretty wild past. What made the Cook Pirates different was their strict rule: never steal food. Zeff would harshly punish anyone who broke this code. Kinda odd for a pirate crew, right? But this rule came from Zeff's personal belief. He truly believed in the legendary ocean known as All Blue, a place where all the seas meet and every kind of fish exists. While Zeff was chasing that dream, the rest of the crew didn't take it seriously. To them, All Blue was just a joke. After a year of sailing the Grand Line, the Cook Pirates decided to return to the East Blue. That choice sealed their fate. During an attack on a passenger ship called Cruise Orbit, a massive storm suddenly hit. The violent weather destroyed both ships and ended the Cook Pirates in a single night. Only two people survived, Zeff and a young boy named Sanji, who had been on the Cruise Orbit. They were stranded together on a lonely rock island in the middle of the sea. That near-death experience changed Zeff forever. From being a feared pirate, he became the head chef and owner of Bellamy, a sea-floating restaurant that feeds anyone hungry, no matter who they are. His dream of finding All Blue never died, and now he's passed that dream on to Sanji, the boy who would go on to become the Straw Hat Crew's cook. The story of the Cook Pirates shows us how powerful fate can be, and how people can change. Even though their crew disappeared in a storm, their legacy still lives on through Bellamy and the dream of the All Blue. Just a second, thank you to everyone who's been with us since day one. And now, welcome to the Grand Line. Besides the epic ninja world of Naruto, we're also diving into the wild, fun, and emotional adventures of Luffy and his crew. We'll laugh, cry, and go all out together on this journey. So, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the crew. Who knows? Maybe you're the missing piece we need to reach the One Piece. Next, let's get back to the Maelstrom Spider Pirates. The Maelstrom Spider Pirates might be one of the most tragic stories in the world of One Piece. Their captain, Squard, went through two terrible losses in his life, and both were tied to some of the most powerful names in history. It all started over 24 years ago. Back then, the Maelstrom Spider Pirates were sailing independently across the Grand Line. Squard was a well-known captain until fate threw his crew into battle with none other than Gol D. Roger, the future Pirate King. The result? Total disaster. His entire crew was wiped out. Squard was the only one left, broken and filled with pain. Even though Roger was known as a kind man, he had strict rules. If anyone hurt his crew or got in the way of his dream to find the One Piece, they paid the price. And the Maelstrom Spiders? They crossed one of those lines and paid with their lives. But then came a light in Squard's dark world, Edward Newgate, also known as Whitebeard. Whitebeard saved Squard, not just physically, but emotionally. He gave him a new family and a reason to live again. Under Whitebeard's flag, the Maelstrom Spider Pirates were reborn. They became one of the 43 allied crews that supported Whitebeard as their father. But the wounds of the past never fully healed. During the Marineford War, Squard's pain came back stronger than ever. The Marine Admiral Akainu saw this and used it against him. Akainu told Squard that Ace, the prisoner they were trying to save, was the son of Gol D. Roger. That hit Squard like a thunderbolt. In a moment of rage and confusion, Squard did the unthinkable. He stabbed Whitebeard, the man who had saved and loved him like a son. But what happened next was powerful. Whitebeard didn't fight back. He forgave Squard. He embraced him and reminded him, a son should not be punished for his father's sins. After that, Squard gave it his all to make up for what he did. He fought with everything he had, ready to die if it meant helping the Whitebeard Pirates and stopping the Marines. The story of the Maelstrom Spider Pirates is proof of how strong love and forgiveness can be. Squard, a man broken by his past, found redemption in the arms of someone who believed in him. Even in a world of pirates and war, that kind of bond is unbreakable. The Bellamy Pirates. The Bellamy Pirates were once a big deal in Mocktown, living wild and free with constant drinking and partying. Their captain, Bellamy the Hyena, believed in something he called the New Age, a mindset that mocked pirates who chased dreams like One Piece or the City of Gold. Instead, Bellamy's crew believed real power came from robbing the weak, showing off high bounties, and ruling through violence. Most of the crew's strength came from Bellamy himself. He had the Bane Bane no Mi, a devil fruit that turned his body into springs, letting him launch powerful and fast attacks. His right-hand man, Sarquess, fought with a giant sword using spinning techniques. Both had pretty high bounties for the paradise part of the Grand Line, making them feared bullies in the town. But that arrogance would lead to their downfall. When they met Luffy and Zoro, they laughed at them for having low bounties. Bellamy refused to believe Luffy was actually worth 100 million berries. Then, boom, Luffy knocked Bellamy out with one punch. That one moment shook the entire foundation of the crew. Things only got worse when Doflamingo, the real boss they were working for, punished them for damaging the image of his Jolly Roger. In a brutal scene, Doflamingo used his puppet power to force Sarquess to attack Bellamy, showing just how cruel the pirate world can be. After their defeat in Jaya, the crew made a desperate move. They tried to go to Sky Island to steal gold and win back Doflamingo's trust. But that trip ended in tragedy. Most of the crew died because they avoided using the knock-up stream, a risky but necessary way to reach the sky. Only Bellamy survived, and after that, he left his old crew behind to serve Doflamingo directly. The story of the Bellamy Pirates is a painful lesson about pride and what happens when you value power over dreams. They were the opposite of Luffy, pirates who bullied the weak instead of chasing something greater. Their fall proves one thing: real strength isn't just about bounties or violence, it's about willpower and believing in your dream. The new Fishman Pirates. The new Fishman Pirates, led by Hody Jones, were once a terrifying force. They had a huge army of 100,000 members, 70,000 fishmen from the Fishman district, and 30,000 human slaves forced to join them. Unlike Arlong's crew, who only worked in East Blue, Hody's crew had bigger goals. They wanted to rule over all humans and make fishmen the dominant race in the world. Hody and his officers grew up in the poor part of Fishman Island. There, they saw the cruelty humans had shown to fishmen. But instead of following the dream of Fisher Tiger, who fought to free slaves and hoped for peace, Hody twisted that idea. He worshipped Arlong and believed in pure hatred, even attacking fishmen who were kind to humans. Fishmen are already 10 times stronger than humans on land, but that wasn't enough for Hody. He stole a drug called energy steroid from the royal palace. It gave him and his officers crazy strength in a short time, enough to beat the Neptune army. But this power came with a terrible cost. When they fought the Straw Hats at Gyancord Plaza, their great power was exposed as fake. Luffy used Conqueror's Haki once and knocked out 50,000 weak-willed members instantly. Even the high-ranking officers, boosted by drugs, were easily beaten by the Straw Hat crew. They also lost their ally, Vanderdecken 9, when Hody turned on him. Their defeat at Fishman Island was total. The drugs made Hody and his men age rapidly, turning them into weak old men. The 30,000 human slaves were freed by Robin and fought back. Many of Hody's followers saw the truth and gave up fighting, realizing how dangerous and blind their leaders had become. Now, Hody and his main officers are sitting in jail, old and powerless. The remaining members are under close watch by the Royal Army. Their story is a harsh lesson. Blind hatred leads to self-destruction. They had a chance to build a better future for their people, but chose violence and revenge, and ended up with nothing. Ironically, the ones who claimed to protect fishmen caused them even more pain. The Rocks Pirates. The Rocks Pirates were maybe the scariest pirate crew to ever sail the seas. They were formed over 44 years ago on Hachinosu Island, and were led by the fearsome captain, Rox D. Zebek. This crew wasn't like other pirate groups. They were violent, chaotic, and constantly fighting among themselves, even while on the same ship. Their strength was insane. The crew included future Yonko like Whitebeard, Edward Newgate, Big Mom, Charlotte Linlin, and Kaido. That alone shows how powerful the Rocks Pirates were. Captain Zebeck himself was considered Roger's greatest rival. He wanted to rule the world and discover secrets the world government tried to hide. For about 6 years, the Rocks Pirates ruled the seas and were the biggest threat to the world. They were so dangerous that Goldie Roger and Monkey D. Garp, two sworn enemies, had to team up to stop them. The final battle happened 38 years ago at God Valley. The Rocks Pirates attacked the Celestial Dragons, but even with all their power, they were defeated and the crew broke apart forever. After the fall, the members all went their separate ways. Whitebeard, Big Mom, and Kaido started their own crews and became Yonko. Ochoku returned to Hachinosu and became the boss, but later got kicked out by Blackbeard, Marshall D. Teach. The world government covered up everything about the Rocks Pirates. Because of that, and because the crew was so divided, their story became a forgotten legend, known only to a few people. Even though they were the strongest crew of their time, the world remembers them only as a shadowy myth. Rumbar Pirates. The Rumbar Pirates might have the saddest story in all of One Piece. They started sailing from West Blue 50 years ago, but they weren't like greedy or violent pirates. They just wanted to explore the world, have fun, and share music, which was the heart of their crew. Their captain, Yorkie, led them on an adventure that changed everything. One day, they met a baby whale named Laboon, who was lonely in the sea. The crew sang happy songs to make him smile, and they became close friends. But when it was time to enter the Grand Line, they had to leave Laboon behind at Reverse Mountain. The sea ahead was too dangerous for a baby whale, so they asked Dr. Crocus to take care of him. Before leaving, the crew made a promise. "We'll come back to see you, Laboon." That promise became their biggest motivation. The Rumbar Pirates were strong. They made it through many tough parts of the Grand Line. But their luck didn't last. Captain Yorkie and some crew got seriously sick and had to leave through the Calm Belt, where they died. Brook became the new captain, but then came the real tragedy. While sailing in the dark, foggy Florian Triangle, they were attacked by another pirate crew. Even though the Rumbar Pirates won the fight, the enemy used poison weapons. Everyone slowly started dying, and there was no doctor to save them. As they waited for death, the crew made a final choice. They all played Bink's Sake one last time, together, and recorded it on a tone dial, a music shell. They wanted to send that song to Laboon to keep their promise. One by one, they died in the middle of the song. Brook was the last one left. And then, he died too. But thanks to his devil fruit, the Yomi Yomi no Mi, Brook's soul came back. His body was gone, so he returned as a skeleton. For 50 years, he stayed alone on that ghost ship, waiting for the chance to meet Laboon again. The story of the Rumbar Pirates isn't just about death. It's about friendship, loyalty, and how music can keep a promise alive. When Brook joined the Straw Hat Pirates, and finally had the chance to see Laboon again, that's when the story of the Rumbar Pirates was finally complete. Geckos Pirates. Gecko Moria was once a bold and ambitious pirate. His dream, to become the Pirate King. Back in the day, he wasn't lazy or depressed like how we see him at Thriller Bark. Young Moria was wild, fearless, and even dared to sail into the New World, the most dangerous sea in One Piece. At that time, his crew was strong. They were powerful enough to fight Kaido, one of the 4 emperors. That shows how powerful Moria's crew really was. They weren't just some weaklings, but even that wasn't enough. 23 years ago, in a land called Ringo in Wano, Moria's crew had a final battle against Kaido. It ended in total defeat. All of Moria's crewmates were killed. Only Moria survived, broken, angry, and full of pain. That loss changed him forever. From a brave fighter, he turned into a man who feared losing people. That's why Moria stopped recruiting real crewmates. Instead, he used zombies because they don't have emotions and they can't die again. To Moria, it was better to have heartless allies than to suffer another loss. Characters like Hogback, Perona, and Absalom, the ones we meet at Thriller Bark, they joined later. They were never part of Moria's original crew. This shows just how alone Moria truly was for over 20 years. The story of Gecko Moria's pirates is a dark reminder. The New World is a cruel place. Even the biggest dreams can be crushed in a single battle. The Acumate Pirates. Devil Diaz and the Acumate Pirates once dreamed of reaching the New World. With a 60 million berry bounty, Diaz seemed like a strong pirate, at least in the first half of the Grand Line. But that bounty became a painful reminder of how huge the power gap is between dreamers and reality. Even Sentomaru said, 60 million isn't enough to survive in the New World. It sounds harsh, but sadly, it's true. Diaz and his crew never even made it past Saboti Archipelago, the last stop before entering the New World. There, everything fell apart. Diaz was captured by slave traders and sold to a celestial dragon named Saint Rosward. He became just another pirate captain toy in the noble's sick collection. The explosive collar around his neck wasn't just a tool, it was a symbol of pure control and cruel power. The saddest part? Diaz begged normal people to help him remove the collar so he could go home to his family. This man once had a bounty and a crew. Now, he was just a broken slave, asking strangers for help, with tears and fear in his eyes. No one helped. The collar exploded. His body dropped to the ground, and the Marines dragged him away like trash. No one knows what happened to the rest of the Acumate Pirates. Maybe they were captured too. Maybe they died. Maybe a few escaped. But if they did, they're probably hiding, scared forever. No matter what, the Acumate Pirates ended at Sabaody. Their story shows us something brutal. In the world of One Piece, dreams can be crushed in an instant. Power is everything, and even pirates with big dreams can be turned into nothing just by crossing the wrong people. And finally, let's talk about some other pirate crews. These are groups that have faced big problems, but Oda hasn't confirmed whether they are completely destroyed or not. First, we have to talk about the Kid Pirates. After doing something reckless at the shores of Elbaf, Kid and Killer were both knocked out cold by Shanks. Their ship and the rest of the crew sank underwater, but Oda stopped giving us updates at that point. So right now, we don't know if they're alive or not. Even if they survived, they lost all 3 of their poneglyph copies, so they can't keep chasing the One Piece anymore. Next, the Beast Pirates. Right now, King, Queen, and some of the small fry are being held as prisoners. We don't know what happened to the others like Jack, the Tobirapo, and especially Kaido. If Kaido really died, then the crew is officially over. But what if Kaido somehow survived? If that happens, Oda might still have some interesting plans for them. We also have to mention the Don Quixote family and Baroque works. Both of them lost to Luffy, but most of the members survived. Still, their groups are basically finished. You could say they are completely ruined. So here's a question. Do you think Doflamingo might escape prison and rebuild his powerful family? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Let's talk about it. Alright, that's it for today. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.